What's up, guys? So today I have something new that I learned about silver and coins. I have some nickels here. These are some wartime nickels, and some people call this constitutional silver. All right, or junk silver is a very popular term. And basically, it is U.S. Minted coins that were used for our currency that happen to have silver content, right? So the thing about these wartime nickels, and you'll see this on a lot of websites, is that from 1942 to 1945, during the war, they had to use nickel itself for war efforts. They had to build things. So what they did was they replaced the nickel with silver. Now, if we look at these nickels here, you'll see, let me zoom in even more here real quick. You'll see we have 1942, 1942, the date is to the right here. This one is actually smeared. We'll talk about that later. The date itself, there's damage there, so you can't actually see what it is. It's 19-something 4. And 1943. So, what I want to talk about is the date 1942 specifically. So let's back up here for a second. You know, all the websites that talk about wartime nickels, they will tell you 1942, 1943, 1944, and 1945 nickels all have 35% silver. But that is not entirely true. And that's because in 1942, there was a transitional period. What that means is that some 1942 nickels do not have silver. All right, so let's take a look at just these for now. I put that one with the smear date off to the side. So we have the 1942 here, okay? Another 1942 and 1943. Now let's flip these over and see what we see, right? We have the Monticello, which is this building. All right, and we'll see that above the building, there's nothing here, there's nothing here, but on this one, there's a giant P. All right, and that stands for the Philadelphia Mint. So all the nickels from 1942, 1943, 1944, and 1945 that have the giant P above the Monticello, those actually have the 35% silver content. This is actually a 1943 nickel. Okay, these two, which I saved, thinking that they were wartime nickels, because they're both from 1942, they were from earlier in the year when they were still nickel, and they did not have any silver content whatsoever. So it's important to note, for just the year 1942, if there is no mint mark at all, or there's a D for the Denver Mint, those do not have silver. That only applies to 1942. All nickels created, regardless of the mint mark, is going to be 35% silver from 1943, 1944, and 1945. The reason they put this giant mint mark on the back was actually so that after the war, the government can pick them back out, knowing that there's silver content in them, which is pretty fascinating. So this is something new that I learned. For a number of years now, since I got into silver, I just assumed that all 1942 nickels had 35% silver, and it's just not true. Now, of course, you can Google this and you can find even more information on this, even more in depth, but that's what you're looking for. And it's actually even easier knowing this. So if you have a bunch of nickels that you're looking through and you're not sure if they're wartime nickels, you don't even have to look at the date necessarily, because the ones with the P above the Monticello are automatically going to be silver. So when you flip those over, you're going to find they're either 1942, 43, 44, or 45. And I believe there's also ones with the D Denver mark, but as long as it's not 42, it's still 35% silver. So again, you know, this is just, I'm an amateur silver collector and, you know, hobbyist. You know, if you want more details on this, definitely do your own research and stuff. But I'm just here to point out for all the people who are into silver who might not have known this. Now, going back to this one that had the smeared date, it doesn't matter what that date is because it does not have the big mint mark above the Monticello. So I know it does not have any silver content, and it's just worth 5 cents. So yeah, just a quick little tidbit. If you have a bunch of wartime nickels, and I do, I have a big pile of them. Well, I don't know if it's considered big. I'm sure plenty of people have pounds and pounds of them. I have, like, let's say, I don't know, 2 big fistfuls. But I'm going to have to go through them now and see if I have any 42s that are not silver. It's just fascinating to me. It's a little bit of an oversight, something I just did not know until now. So I wanted to spread the news in case you are like me, you're into silver, and you just automatically assume that all 1942 nickels had that 35% silver content, and they just don't. I forget the exact details as to what month or whatever they started implementing the silver, but it's certainly worth looking through if you happen to have a wartime nickel collection, just to make sure that the ones you're saving do actually have silver content. So that's all. Just wanted to share this with you guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any interesting factoids about silver coins, certainly post them down below. There's other things I only recently learned as well, really diving into the subject, and that was like the bicentennials. I talked about this in the quarter video, I believe. But some of the bicentennial coins, even though it's 76, some of those that have the San Francisco S mint mark on them, those are in fact 40% silver coins, which I didn't know. This is kind of cool. So, you know, the more you talk about things, the more you read about things, the more you learn, and it's fascinating. So I just wanted to pass it on today for the very few rare people who see this video, like silver, but didn't know that, and now you do. So that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video, and hope you have a great day. Take care.